Yeah, listen up, this ain't a game. Truth Seekers 88, we reclaim no mask, no lies, no doubt, no pause. We see the system, we know the cause. We ain't blind, we read the signs. Contracts twist, but we hold the line. Mike stands tall, the sheepdogs ride. Admin's watching, truth stays alive. We laugh together, cry as one. Tribe ain't broken, we ain't done. Justice lives, truth runs deep, heart to heart. Family speaks, no more shadows, no disguise. We see past the blinding lies. Hand in hand we walk, we show. Truth Seekers 88, let them know. Through the fight, through the years, through the laughter, through the tears. Sheepdogs, the admin stand. Truth Seekers 88, we take a stand.
Hey. I'm not Mike, but Mike's doing okay. Glad to have everybody here. Hope everybody had a good day. It's 7/14/2025. And we're here to have some fun tonight.
We always have fun. Or try to, anyway. All the craziness going on.
Major psychological operations taking place here. Weather warfare. All taking place simultaneously on the people. Even the bioweapons still on the shelf. Now they're coming after your kids with it. You know, of course, you don't talk about that on the news too much on Fox. Where are we at? How's everything on y'all side, chat? Everything good? Connecticut in the house? Right?
North Michigan.
Love and light. Love and light. What is this? Green power. All right, here we go. Share screen. Chit chat too much. I like to get started. A lot to talk about. A lot of different opinions are coming out. You got the left and the right, and I hate to use that terminology, but that's where we're at, so people can understand what's taking place. Basically, the house is coming together. The house that was divided is coming together. So now they got to maintain control of that division. So you got to keep that in mind. All right. The house is coming together.
Right. And there's a lot of stuff that's like, where was that? Where they had the protests and then the horses out in the park and all that. The cops were on the horses.
Oh, LA?
LA. And it looks totally staged.
Oh, it's
totally.
Well, they went through they lined up and rode their horses, and they had SWAT teams or something like that. But
they didn't do anything. They just walked.
Yeah.
They weren't chasing anybody or nothing like that. They just went out there marching and with the horses and all in gear and with all the cameramen around them, like just taking photos, and that was it.
It was in an empty park.
Mm-hmm.
It was like a photo op, kind of like propaganda.
Yeah, and a guy,
or just to exercise, really.
a guy was out in the park, and he asked the sheriff. It looked like a sheriff or something that was out there. He asked him what was going on, and he said he couldn't tell him.
Because they're out there to draw in people that are agitators. As soon as they see, that's all it is. It's
force.
like, that's it. They just go out there, even though the field's blank, nobody's on it.
Yeah, he said, I've
You
been
just
out
march-
here all day, and there's nobody. What was that all for? He said, you can't disclose that.
Because they're just trying to see who's going to take the bait.
Yeah. But yeah, so don't believe everything you're seeing on the television. And then I saw a lot of posts that people are using reposts from things that happened like last year or the year before. I caught the date on one of them. They put like today's date, and then at the top it had last year. So you got to watch out for that, especially like on TikTok. Some people just trying to get views, so don't take everything you see seriously. Look it up. And even then, you have to question it. You have to question everything. Question everything, especially anything you see. Unless you see it, outside your door or in your environment where
Right.
you live, then you might have some fidelity to it. But
Yeah, that's what I tell people. Just turn the TV off, go outside, look around. All I hear is the birds chirping. It's beautiful outside, or it's raining, or either way, it's still beautiful.
right.
But that's the psychological part of this manipulation that's taking place, that people don't understand who owns and operates the mainstream media still. They think they're their friends. And they have right-wing media and left-wing media, and they got y'all both telling y'all both bullshit. Right.
Right.
You got to understand the battle we're in here.
It's for your mind.
It's a battle for the mind. That's it. And your soul, if you let them. Because they want that too. And everything else you got. But I got breaking news. I got the missing 1 minute off of the Epstein video. I found it. So we're going to be sharing that tonight. What they cut out. Y'all want to go ahead and start? We'll go ahead and start with that. So I got the 1 minute clip that was cut out of the Epstein apparently being in a federal penitentiary, my ass video. But here it is. Got the,
Footage is missing 1 minute.
there he is.
How convenient. Epstein case closed. Client list gone.
There it is, guys. We got him. So that's how fast somebody can go through a door and down the hallway in less than a minute.
Yeah, that AI thing is pretty good.
Footage is missing.
Look at that. That's only 2 seconds. I know this is AI, but just, is using an example of how fast something can take place in a minute.
Oh, yeah.
Check it out.
1 minute.
And he went the wrong way.
How convenient. Epstein case closed. Client list gone.
Of course, he wouldn't be walking out by himself.
No.
He was never in there.
No, I don't think he ever was.
I don't think he ever touched it. Yep, so there that is. Case closed, guys. That's it. I know we've got promises to release the Epstein list if he wins. But nobody cares about Jeffrey Epstein, which lit a fire under the people that care about Epstein. And the fact that they did, years of research piled up.
Oh, yeah. But
And
it's like, it's out there. It's out there, so there's not really, I don't think they will ever release it, though. But it's still all out there.
Well, you can kind of tell how they squirm around who's on it.
Right.
Or
I
who's
went
not,
through
or who's
some of it,
trying to cover it up. But
Today, and there's a lot. There's a lot of pages. A lot.
But we're in that little season, so I want to, before we get a little bit more into the Epstein thing, I want to go ahead and talk about the little season of deception. We're going to play a little clip here from my lunch break so people can understand that what we're up against here. Some people think we're going into peace 1,000 years, and that's not the case. So therefore, their view of what's taking place is different than the people, than of the little season.
Yeah, because he's done episodes on all the Tartarian buildings and all that. That's what most people that know about Tartarian believe. That took place during that time, and that we're in the little season. So, if you know about Tartaria, then you think differently. You think more. This is more of the little season than it is.
Right. Some people think the president or the government dictates where we're heading biblically or spiritually for some reason. I don't see how any President Bush, Obama, Trump, Clinton can determine whether or not we're going into 1,000 years of peace or not.
Oh no, only God.
The
Creator does
come on
that.
now.
It's already set.
Right. So we're thinking that because of somebody's in the White House that,
or things
biblically speaking, all kinds of prophecies are going to start being fulfilled,
or that
they're already been fulfilled.
They're aligning everything to the prophecy, so we think that it's in that time. But that's what they go off.
And that's where we come in with the little season of deception, because that's where we're at. It's 500 years, right?
Every time something really has gone through a major change, everyone's thought it was the end times then. Like the Great Depression, they thought it was the end times then. So they played it out just the same then too.
So what we're saying is the churches have pretty much pushed this end times prophecy so much in their churches that it's manifesting in a way via the media and world events to make it seem as such. But when you turn the TV off, you have to see these things taking place around you, right? You wouldn't be just, he didn't say, hey, man, when you turn it on Fox tonight, take a look. When you start seeing reports of this and this, you know it's the end. You see what I'm saying?
Right.
So it's a spiritual thing. You know when something's coming to an end, you know when something's beginning, or when something's beginning come to an end.
Right.
You just know. You don't need the news to tell you. And it's a personal thing in each person's own perception of what's taking place around themselves,
right,
and their situation. But so basically, we're in the Satan's little season. We're going to play a little video.
After that, he must be loosed. A little season. What if I told you that we are living today, right now, in the little season? What if I told you that what was told to us makes so much more sense than what we could have ever imagined? What if I told you that yesterday was the final day, that all of us didn't understand Revelation, that he should deceive the nations no more, until the 1,000 years should be fulfilled. And after that, Satan must be loosed. A little season. And this is not optional. We are told that he should deceive the nations no more, until the 1,000 years should be fulfilled. There is deception like you wouldn't believe right now, and we all know it. On a grand scale, this means that he is not bound. He is not chained to that pit, and he is loosed. Where his goal is to deceive the nations, including governments, religious systems, media, education, and the population's morals. I do believe that Satan has been loosed, and he is the final.
He just pointed out morals, right?
right.
Where's our morals?
And our hearts have gone cold.
Or our hearts have gone cold because we want to win the midterms, or because we don't want to lose something in the economy, or because we're scared to lose something
we don't.
to sacrifice to save other people.
Right.
Are we here to be served, or are we here to be served? Are we here serving or being served? He came to serve, right? at whatever cost. So morals.
Tool to see who will follow God and who will not, who will find the truth. This is the final test. Before he was chained to the pit for 1,000 years, he had full freedom to deceive, manipulate, and influence the kingdoms of the world. This is confirmed multiple times in the Bible. And then he was chained for 1,000 years in the pit. And what happened in these 1,000 years? Satan was imprisoned. Truth was established. Global scale deception was paused. Where you see everything they left behind, in my opinion. This pause, this is the old world. A time of peace, knowledge and truth, star forts, cathedrals, palaces. These were all created and Satan couldn't stop it. Where today, we are given the basic box style. The vinyl siding on our houses that fall off after 3 years, or if the wind blows. Today, most people don't know who they are. There's total confusion, misdirection, deception. Researching and finding the truth is labeled as a conspiracy theorist. All-time highs right now for these 3 mental illnesses.
How'd they get the car on the moon?
Right.
Correction, deception, researching and
Deception, NASA. I'm pausing here for a reason. NASA is the serpent.
finding the
These
truth
are the
is
things
labeled
that
as a
we're talking about, of deception. How did the car get to the moon?
I mean, there's no gravity. How's it staying sitting on the
Because they flew in on a capsule, right?
Right.
Little first man on the moon. So they're telling me what this looks like a damn umbrella. This is the deception, NASA, the serpent, the tongue, split tongue.
conspiracy theorist. All-time highs right now for these 3 mental illnesses and so many other things, including this word, where algos are detecting words all the time. All of these signs today, they clearly point to a little season of deception where we have broken families all over the place. It is one of the best ways to destroy brand new people. You separate them from their families. We see war all the time. We see it right now. Division through race, class, gender, and politics. Staged chaos with people constantly chasing virtual approval rather than eternal truth. Addiction, and of course, we all know it. There is no justice. So let's go back and read this once again. Where I saw an angel come down from heaven, having the key to the bottomless pit, and a great chain in his hand, and bound Satan for 1,000 years, casting him into the bottomless pit, where he should deceive the nations no more, until the 1,000 years be fulfilled. And after that 1,000 years, he will be loosed, a little season. This means that if there is deception at all, he is here. And what happens after the little season? This just takes everything to a whole new level, where if you were born during this little season, I believe, in my opinion, you were born to face it. And we're just getting started today. Welcome to episode 134 on my lunch break. I hope you're all having a great day. And if you're new, welcome. I want to thank all of our sponsors over on Patreon. Thank you to FlatEarthDave.com. You can check out his app, the Flat Earth, Sun, Moon, and Zodiac app. I'll put the link right in the description. And you can use my referral. What happens after the little season? You, Jenica Joyce, or Niho, Lucy, Shiba Shaba in the darkness. You guys are all awesome and helping this channel out a lot. So what happens after the little season? What should we do right now? When the 1,000 years are expired, Satan shall be loosed out of his prison, and he shall go out to deceive the nations, which are in the 4 quarters of the earth, Gog and Magog, to gather them together to battle, gathering all of the nations together to form a one world government, while also creating deception. We've all seen a mass event where every single country, they all came together within the last few years. We all know it. We all just went through it. And we saw how they all operated. We watched, and none of them battled against it. They all worked together. So they've been exposed. These nations.
Imagine that. I thought everybody was at war with each other. But when COVID came, they were all on the same page.
Saw how they all operated. We watched.
Look. What? Solve it. Look. All in unity right here. This is unity. First time ever in the history of the world. And we've seen all the countries getting along.
Right.
And working in
That
cooperation
they
with each other.
normally get along anyway. They showed us.
Well, on the TV, they show us wars and all
Yeah,
that so they can justify the billions of dollars they need to send to the military-industrial complex. That's all fake, too. Fake news, fake wars, fake pandemics, fake polls, fake elections. It's fake. It's a simulated world reality.
An illusion.
It's an illusion. Wow, 4 years.
And none of them battled against it. They all worked together. So they've been exposed. These nations all coming together to go to the beloved city where the saints live. And this is the moment, the exact moment, that God decides that the little season is over. And this is when.
Right here, we're talking about Judgment Day, right? Seeing the gavel?
Yep. And Trump did the gavel on the White House lawn.
Did the
when
gavel.
He signed the big, beautiful bill of the BBB.
He said, oh, you brought me that gavel.
When he saves the saints, where they live in the beloved city. And they don't go to the city until right before Judgment Day. They are gathered there in the beloved city, and it happens fast, right at the end. While the little season's happening, these saints, they don't even know that they are the saints until they are gathered and have already been chosen by God. This means that the saints that Satan and all of the nations want to surround in the beloved city, these saints, they just might be living among us right now and are completely unaware of who they really are and what they have been chosen to be and who doesn't like them at all. And then what comes next after Judgment Day, where God comes back and the books were open and another book was opened, which is the book of life. And the dead were judged out of those things which were written in the books, according to their works.
So you got, how are you dead and how are you living? You got to know your status, right?
You gotta
know who you are.
And that said,
you're either in the book of life or the book of death.
The ones that speak truth, seek God, and resist the system. Right? That's the life.
Resist?
Resist.
We're supposed to resist? I thought we were supposed to go along with the get along.
Right, because that's not his kingdom. That was their kingdom.
So you're saying
Satan's
DC's not our kingdom?
Satan set up.
Oh, that's where they have the beast at, right?
That's why we've been really in judgment for a long time, right?
Yeah, because we've been led astray.
Right. So we got
to find ourselves again, recenter.
Right.
This is not about religion. This is about reality. You're either deceived or you are awake and searching for the truth. After the little season comes Judgment Day. And whoever was not found written in the book of life is now cast into the lake of fire. There is no argument. There is no second chance.
Yeah, it doesn't say you need a real ID right there, does it? Whoever's not written in the book of life is cast into the lake of fire.
Argument. There is no second chance. The little season right now, in my opinion, is the test. It is the final test to see who's going into the lake of fire with Satan. Or, if your name's in the book of life, you enter eternal life in the new heaven and new earth, where God dwells with his people forever. There are two options after the little season's over. And if we are in it right now, which I do believe we are, it's the final test. We're currently living in the final test, where God shall wipe all of their tears from their eyes, and there shall be no more death, no more sorrow, no more crying, and no more pain. The little season will be done. It will end. Those that have died, those that are alive, they will all meet back up, and they will all be there for judgment. So what exactly will people be judged on? They'll be judged on every secret thing, whether it be good or whether it be evil. Every work will be brought to judgment. What did you do with your time? What did you do with your body? But what if none of us knew that it was the little season and you were deceived? Confess. You will no longer be judged by your past. You are judged by what you do now. If you're still breathing, you still have time. He is no longer chained, and we're shown this on the Statue of Liberty, where the chains are off. Earth is a battlefield right now. A war is being fought as we speak, and it's all over our souls. And it's a place where we're all tested. Again, as I always say, this is all in my opinion, and you're free to think whatever you'd like. This is a blaring truth at this point, and I believe it explains the old world without a doubt. I believe that was the 1,000 years where all of the deception was put on pause. All of the
Can y'all see that art? I got to pause it right here because it's really beautiful.
explains the old world
That's
without a
when they
doubt.
say,
I
it's
believe
like
that.
Elvis.
Okay, these are your seasons, right? 1, 2, 3, 4. This is the cosmic womb, the vagina. This right here. This is what the Washington Monument comes up through like a phallus. And they're see who's in the center, right? That's why they do that.
And someone said Satan doesn't exist. Well, yeah, it's like a spirit. It's Satanism really means just love of self. You love yourself more than others. It's all about you, right? Kind of like the people in our government. It's all about them. So.
That was the 1,000 years where all of the deception was put on pause, all of the wars and the rest. And if I don't share this information with you all at the very minimum and allow you to process it and think about it, and then what am I doing here? I don't think a single person would want me to be withholding or hiding information from you that I feel is extremely valuable. I believe that would then make me accountable. The lake of fire or the book of life, that day I believe is coming. And when it's coming is all up to God. And when Satan and all of the nations decide to surround the saints, when this happens, judgment day will come. And Satan will be casted into the lake of fire, and he shall be tormented day and night forever and ever. And he will never come back. And this is the final time that the earth will be deceived. And we are being deceived, in my opinion, on a grand scale.
The tools in our book, and why is this not online? Whatever book is online, it's in my book.
Right, but why aren't these tools online? That's all I'm asking.
Ask the people online, but they are remains in my book.
Are they in a museum somewhere?
Mass deception. If there was no deception going on at all, we would all know it. We know there is an overwhelming amount of deception going on. Truth is looked at as being crazy, and that is the clearest giveaway. Division, separation, depression, anxiety, suffering, you name it. This is all evidence because none of this happens in a time of peace and prosperity. But that time is coming. And according to what we are told, judgment is coming for every single person that has ever lived here or is living right now. There will be one final meeting for everybody. And this is the final test for humans. There will not be another one. There will not be a second or third chance. This is the test.
The final
today,
countdown.
right now, this time period that we're living
TikTok.
in. This is a time where we are being tested. When times are hard, how do you respond? What choices do you make in your time here? And before we go on, let's take a minute and thank all of our badge members, all of our Patreons, and every single subscriber. You are all the reason that
There he's showing it.
if you're looking for even more content from us. After the little season, after Judgment Day, after everything is said and done, what happens? A new heaven and a new earth are formed. The saints will live with God forever. There will be eternal peace. And all of that replaces this battlefield that we live on today. There will be no more sin, no more pain, and no more death. God will live with the people that he had written in the book of life. He lives with them face to face forever. And Satan never returns. And none of this is happening today, which shows that we are not there yet. This is not a past tense story. This is still to come. The test ends for humans after Judgment Day. The deception ends. The pain and suffering is over and the kingdom begins, and it never ends. And this is not the only religion in the world that says that this is going to happen. Different words, different cultures, the exact same patterns. Where there is a time of peace, there's a season of deception, and then there's a final battle, a judgment, and then the new world, where only truth remains. This is recognized all over the world, a little season, where the nations all work together to deceive all of us. They have done a great job. Millions of people are suffering. They're so confused as to what's going on.
So we're going to go back. We're going to read that.
Is over, and the kingdom begins.
So they believed in a final battle between good and evil. After the final test, the wicked are burned, and the righteous enter a renewed world without death or deception.
That was Persia.
Yeah, it's the oldest known
Monotheistic.
religion. A savior comes at the end to lead to the righteous. Belief in Kali Yuga, the final dark age marked by moral collapse. That's a key thing right here, moral collapse
Hinduism.
and deception. How are we morally collapsing that we can't even, like the children are being swept under the rug just so you don't lose your system or your elections next year, to maintain control and blackmail so that you can accomplish exactly what you've seen taking place in the looking glass. So at the end of Kali Yuga, the god Krishna returns as Kalki, riding a white horse to destroy evil and cleanse the world. Then begins a new golden age. Where have we heard that at? All right, so we got Buddhism, prophecy of mantra, a future Buddha who will appear after the world falls into a deep spiritual darkness. He will restore truth and usher in pure, peaceful era after a global reckoning. Keyword, after a global reckoning.
That's what's kind of happening right now.
Yeah.
We're waking up to the truth.
And it's not so pretty.
No.
Islam. End times include the appearance of the Dajjal Antichrist, which is what Christians pretty much talk about, right?
Yeah. It's the same. Basically, it's all their stories are pretty much the same, just different characters and a little different scenarios.
So Islam and Christianity is the same right here, according to this, because both parties are looking for the Antichrist, followed by the return of Isa, Jesus. This is Islam. They know.
Yeah, Isa.
Isa is ISIS.
Right. Because that was his name. The J didn't exist. So, like, if you look in the book of Essenes, it was Isa.
IESA. Because I is 9. 9 is most high.
Right.
10, J is a 10. Actually, it starts back over at 1 when you lay it out. It's the first letter. Because they only went up to 9. A final confrontation between truth and deception. That's kind of where we're at right now.
Yeah.
After judgment, the faithful enter Jannah, paradise, an eternal garden free of pain and evil. The Mayan prophecies describe cycles of time ending in purification because they went by cycles with their calendars. What was there? What did it in 2012?
Right, which they were 8. I think they said how many. It was off, but they said it's actually this year.
All right.
Because we changed to the Gregorian, so it's off.
So at the end of each cycle, a great judgment or destruction leads to a renewed world. So you got to do away with the old to bring in the new. Can't put new wine into old wineskins. Same thing. So the 2012 calendar wasn't about the end. It was about the transition to a new era. It says right here at the bottom. So everyone's like, yeah, it's the end of times, into their time.
Confused what this place is all about. Deceived on a grand scale. A clear operation. It's a plan. And it has tricked so many people. And none of us are perfect. And that's not the point. But we're all here right now in this time period. And we all have a choice at this very moment. Wake up to the deception all around us. Reject the lie and ask for the truth. Because if this is correct, and we really are in the little season, then this is the final chance to choose which side we're all on. And it's not up to me or you. We can all choose if this information is real or not. Life is about choices. This is what's written. I believe that this is the point of the story that's been suppressed for so long, and it's now coming to light. And I don't believe it's coming to light for no reason. I believe the entire Bible is all centered around this point. It's laid out perfectly in a timeline that's undeniable. There's no guessing about it. Satan had full control. This happened already. He's already done this. And this is the second time. And it's the second time because we can all see that there was greatness. We see that the palaces are everywhere, all over the earth, in every country, almost every town. We see the cathedrals that were built. When Christ defeated him at the cross, when he rose from the dead and began his reign, binding Satan for 1,000.
When he overcame Satan, when he rose from the dead, see, that's why they don't talk about the resurrection, do they? And what happened afterwards? Because then you got to talk about the 1,000 years and the buildings you see around you. It says right here, he rose from the dead and began his reign. 1,000 years. I think it just ended probably somewhere around 1213. 1213. It's 500 something years ago. So we have that, right? That's not a solid date. That is according to the documents that we read about when the Pope took the land from Peter. That was passed down from the way they call him Jesus, John, or Ion, or
Right.
now shall the prince of this world be cast out. John 12:31. Satan was bound for 1,000 years.
Years in the
See, that's the 1,000 years he was bound for, was dinner and 1,000 years of peace. And he was let loose. That's why you see the Statue of Liberty with the broken chain. So this is getting on the right timeline right here.
When they came and did all that.
So you got to get
Destroyed
on
all the buildings,
some.
almost all the buildings.
See, some people think that Satan's fixing to be bound only for 1,000 years. No, this is for all the marbles. This is it. There is no more coming back out.
No more empires.
That's it. You just read God's word. It said
We're
no
not
more
gonna have any
pain, no more.
empires.
It didn't say, no more pain, no more sorrow, no more tears. But buckle up. I'm going to let Jesus out. Satan out in 500 years.
His
That's
kingdom is not a front of this world. It's not material. It's spiritual. It's within. It's all of us. Right. So
Yeah. So we got to realize that Satan was bound for 1,000. He was let loose 1213. Sometime after that.
yeah, and that's when they came in. The Roman
1300s,
Catholic Church came
1400s,
in and
yes.
took over everybody, almost all the countries
That's when they turned Jesus into a Roman.
on the Crusades and all that. Right.
They hijacked his whole identity.
And they changed the word.
And then they changed the name, the buildings and stuff.
They
Destroyed
changed the
some
word
of them.
and the teachings.
Changed the dates, added a 1 at the end of it when it was only supposed to be 888 on the building. They put a 1 at the end of it, so it says 1888.
Right. That's when it lost the 1,000 years.
And that's how they hide the 1,000 years. The Masons know this. So they bound him for 1,000 years that he should deceive the nations no more. Let's play this.
pit. The deception all stopped. The Milan Cathedral was built. The Cologne Cathedral.
You can't build that unless you're being a co-creator.
Right.
You're at your highest frequency. Because now you tell somebody to go build something, they think they're doing something by building a square box with 3 floors on it,
Right.
2-quart for the 4-quart car garage. They think that's cool, but these people were on a whole nother level,
Oh yeah. It was all
and they were seeing
sacred
things.
geometry is what they built everything on.
Look,
It was everything's rounded and curved.
pulling energy right out of the atmosphere.
Right.
See all
Because
that?
they understood about frequency and the vibrations. How those things. We're not supposed to live in a square box.
Cathedral was built. The Notre Dame Cathedral.
Again, look at that.
Why do you think these palaces are all being destroyed today? Who built them? And who doesn't want them to be here now? Why do you think they all light on fire? Can you see very clearly now? It's all connected. And after the 1,000 years, Satan must be loosed. A little season. This is done so that God can see who's coming with him into the kingdom, face to face, living forever. Satan deceives the world one last time. This is all written. And everything in the Bible circulates around this timeline occurring. And in my opinion, we are living in it right now. A timeline so clear. There's no guessing about it. When the fire comes down and ends it all, no war, just judgment. Satan cast it into the lake of fire, and then judgment day, where every soul stands before God, and the books are opened, and the book of life decides it all. Whoever's not written will be cast into the lake of fire. A new heaven and a new earth follows for those that are written. It's a clear timeline, one that has not happened yet. And we know this by what we see, where we are, and what's going on in the world today. So I'll ask, do any of us really know where we live? How can we be so sure of anything? I've said this for a very long time. I truly believe it. There are no coincidences. I believe that if you're hearing this right now, you were supposed to. I think this place that we live is so much more than what we are told. We are not basic. We are not pathetic. We are not random. None of this is. This is a timeline that we were all supposed to be in. And this is a very powerful time to be alive. Because we all are, in my opinion, in enemy territory. This is not a friendly place at the moment. It's full of deception. It's planned out to deceive you. They want you. They want your soul. And that's the bottom line. He is going to go into the lake of fire. He wants to bring you with him. And life is about choices. I could choose to keep this information to myself. I could never share it. I could hint at it. Or I can do what I did today and share it with you and share it with the world and show everybody that this lines up perfectly. It is described to us. It's laid out and explained. So it's our choice now, at this very moment, to do our own research, improve, grow, and share what we know with others. Or we can all just ignore it and pretend that it's all random and just think that these stories are all myths and keep trusting the systems that are built to deceive us. Satan's little season, in my opinion, is not a distant theory. I believe that we are living in it, and it's happening right now as we speak.
All right, the channel is called My Lunch Break. You can go on YouTube. It's got more content. This is episode 134 right here. Just came out the other day. Book of Life, all the symbolism. I've shared some videos in the past from that channel. So that's where we're at, so everybody can understand while you're following the politicians down off the cliff. You might want to hit the brakes and reanalyze and take a look at, open that book again and read it and reread it and reanalyze it and see if you get something different.
It's all coded.
Not saying throw anything away, but just saying take another look. But they was talking about golden age, right? Well, the politicians are hijacking the golden age thing.
Right, but you also got to remember the Freemasons had a golden age too, right? So there's two golden ages. Our golden age is not like their golden age. What they wanted is different than what we want.
Right. Well, according to Jim Jordan, golden age is the 250th birthday, the Olympics, and the World Cup. The golden age, baby. That's a synthetic
right
version
because
scheduled by the federal government
for the golden age.
Exactly.
The biblical one.
That's what I'm trying to tell them, that they've hijacked it because they know the time is here.
Right.
But the people that know can see it, and the people that don't know are being deceived. Right. So we're in a little season still. We're still in deception, and we're still in pain or
right.
Stuff like that. Corruption. We don't protect the children. We don't protect the elderly. We can't feed the homeless. We can't house the homeless. But we got money for wars. That's Satan. Pentagon. Satan. It's all demonic. You're blowing people up to take their minerals. Like that's what people that are trying to conquer the world do.
They've done it for a
And they
long
don't care
time.
if it's women or children or whatever. They'll even provide the buses to bust them out of there or fly them out of there if they don't kill them first. So the golden age is kind of hijacked. You got to be able to see that. I hear Joe Biggs said Democrats aren't the only one messing with kids. It's Republicans as well. Our government is packed with deranged baby you-know-whaters. That's why we need to know who they are so that we can bring them down. I don't care if the whole world goes up in flames. I'd rather destroy. These are the saints right here. I'd rather destroy everything than sit in silence and do nothing. The victims of these atrocities deserve it. It's our responsibility. Keep children safe. That's your sacred duty. Not to run cover for rich elite pedophiles. Joe Biggs, J6. So we're at the point now, with all due respect, Mr. President, are you still talking about the Russia hoax, the Hunter Biden laptop, and the 2020 election? Well, then, yeah, I think I'm still talking about bringing pedophile rapist elites to justice. Thank you for your attention to this matter. That's where we're at. Everybody's putting the line in the sand. We're not going to go any further with the shenanigans. Charlie Kirk, he's okay with this, saying, hey, guys, we need to go keep an eye on the border. Charlie Kirk says he's officially done discussing Jeffrey Epstein, including the crimes committed against children. Instead, he says he'll leave it in the hands of his trusted friends in the U.S. government to handle, choosing to step away from the issue for now. Honestly, I'm done talking about Epstein. Falling in line right there. This is Miga. I'm sure I don't need to play the video. I got the video clip. Here he is with his yarmulke, kissing the wall. Man, people are showing themselves today, ain't they? So we got Diddy's found not guilty on all major sex trafficking charges. The FBI ends their investigation into Prince Andrew. The DOJ closes the Epstein list case, and decades of child abuse by elite perpetrators is being covered up and buried in real time.
Oh yeah, Prince Andrew's got off of everything.
Yeah, he's good now.
And I read through the documents. There's a lot of him in there, accusations, and in detail, which is not easy to read.
Yeah, those of you attacking me because of my stance above the Epstein can kiss my ass. Those kids deserve justice. This is the House coming together because you don't know what these people's politics are, because I don't know them personally. They may be left, Republican or Democrat, but they're all talking about the same thing, the children, right? And that's the House coming together. They said the children would save humanity. And that brings us together as one common. I mean, who wouldn't?
And we're the children too, right?
Right. So those kids deserve justice. If you're willing to just turn a blind eye, you can hit that unfollow button. Please let me know when you do so. I'm sure that I don't follow a scumbag. You can unfollow Charlie Kirk there, Captain Kirk. All right. So anybody not pushing to get this put out, you need to take note and make sure you're not checking off the ballot next time you go hit that on election day, midterms or election, whatever. You need to know where they stood at this time. I'm not saying to do it. Most people are probably going to stay home midterms, but historically speaking, People are selling out the kids so they can win midterms, the Republicans. But guess what? Historically speaking, Democrats win every time there's a Republican president, and every time there's a Democratic president, the Republicans win the midterms. So, and especially after everything that was just cut from SNAP and Medicaid, Medicare coming up, and all those, you just took a bunch of Republicans and made them Democrats overnight because now they need their shit back. You don't even think. Can't even take care of the people in your own. Republican or Democrat, you still take from the poor and give to the rich. That's the Republican Party for you. That's what it's looking like. It's the same as the Democrat Party.
Well, yeah, because they are the same in DC. They're about the same.
So what we have here is multiple MAGA influencers are openly arguing that they can't release the Epstein list because it'll help Democrats win the midterms, which is quite the admission of what's happening here. So that's why you're not seeing it, because they're thinking elections.
Right, when
They're going to pass it off until they get the next asshole in there or whoever the hell they're going to have as a fall guy, and then you might see it collapse.
Yeah. Participating in that is where they're going wrong. We need to all say that's it.
But what's crazy is seeing the left-wing influencers all of a sudden caring about it when they didn't give a shit when Joe Biden was sniffing kids. They voted for a pedophile because they didn't want Trump.
Yeah.
You know, it's just like, holy shit. A known one, though. I mean, both would have paperwork, but so Hodge Twins saying they don't appreciate you calling them traitors for talking about Epstein. I think that's a psyop in itself from the Israel, the MAGA crowd. Make Israel great again crowd? You know, like Charlie Kirk, Mark Levin, Laura Loomer. So Pam Bondi told the world she had the Epstein list on her desk. Now they're gaslighting us and calling us traitors for calling it out. Make it make sense. So we have the Epstein client list is very real, and Maxwell is ready to spill the beans, but the Republicans are blocking her. Why the hell are Republicans going out of their way to block that Epstein list?
Which she already did. That's it. They're just keeping you in a.
They're playing the back and forth shit. It's already out.
This is all brand new. It's been out since her trial. That's when it was all released. The rest of it was all released. But the trial's been started since 2008. So it's been a long time. But it's just all coming out now. But they act like everyone's asking them to give you something. They're not going to give you anything. It's been out there this whole time. You just have to look.
Like if Harris had won and done the exact same actions around Epstein as Trump, people would be in the streets.
The people are in the
That's
streets.
why they got a pacification off in there. They put your favorite character up there to keep you sitting back going, oh, Trump's in there. I trust Trump. But he's their boss. Well, no, Netanyahu's their boss.
Well, not even him.
Well, not even him.
There's people above them
Right.
that you will never see. You never heard of. It always has
Right.
been. Those are just faces, puppets. That's it.
Right. Which one of these do you want to do next? Because we did. I think I'm done with that. Showed you the Epstein escaping 1 minute clip video.
Oh, the guy with about the weather. That.
Oh yeah, let's do that one. Let me play this one real quick.
Do you know where it is?
All right, here we go. Yeah, just go up and send it to me again, if you don't mind.
What are we doing? We are building cages in swamps and calling it policy.
We are fencing in families beneath the drowning weight of Spanish moss and razor wire and telling ourselves it's justice. We're constructing holding pens for human beings under the cruel cover of patriotism while gators circle and cameras roll. The fascists of the past hid their sins behind silence. Their camps were whispered about, and their horrors only fully known when the smoke had settled and the bodies were counted. But us, we're not hiding a damn thing. We're posting on Instagram. We're selling souvenir t-shirts. We're lining up outside the gates of hell in flag print board shorts, grinning for Facebook likes. We've turned suffering into spectacle. And people will die there. Not in metaphor, not in poetic exaggeration. They will die alone and terrified in the humidity of a man-made hell. They will die because we forgot how to feel compassion. And that is not opinion, that is mathematical certainty. And some of them will be American citizens, some will have protected status, some will be children, and some will be the ones that picked our crops and cooked our food and built our homes, protected under laws written in blood and memory. And they will die anyway because our paperwork was sloppy or our policy was cruel, or because someone somewhere decided their life didn't matter as much as a re-election campaign. But who has the time for the rule of law or the nuance of common sense when you've got to make sure Cletus feels like a patriot in his American by the Grace of God t-shirt stitched together by 8-year-olds in China and sold at Walmart? We are not drifting toward authoritarianism. We are building it brick by brick, and we're doing it with full-color banners, country music, and little red hats made in sweatshops. And so the state of the union is this. We are losing our soul and pretending it's progress. Give me the migrant worker. Give me the woman who crossed the border to feed her children, who works 3 jobs and sends money home, who doesn't take your job because you won't do one. I've worked beside her and I've worked beside Cletus, and Cletus needs 22 cigarette breaks a shift. His knees act up when it's over 85 degrees, and he insists that his doctor says he can't stand longer than 30 minutes without a lawn chair and a cold Dr. Pepper, and he's the loudest one. And if you're cheering this on, if you're hooting and hollering about migrants being eaten by alligators in a Florida wetland gulag, your only real contribution is as a mouthpiece for corporate fascism. You're not defending freedom. You're defending Stephen Miller. And Stephen Miller is not a controversial conservative. He is in both function and ideology a Nazi in modern drag. And that is not a slur. It is an indictment based on his own words, writings, and policies. This is the man that engineered family separation at the border, and not as a last resort, but as a deterrent, punishment, a calculated cruelty. He's praised far-right European nationalists and used his position inside the White House to push white nationalist talking points directly into DHS policy. He fed xenophobia into the system like coal into a furnace, not caring what burned, only that it kept burning. And if you don't believe me, read the SPLC's archive on his own emails to Breitbart. He cites white nationalist websites, rails against immigration, and recommends racist literature as policy inspiration. And for the record, yes, he's Jewish. And yes, he's a Zionist. And yes, history has room for that contradiction. You see, fascism isn't picky about the hands that feed it, so long as the boot lands where it's aimed. And when nationalism becomes ethnic supremacy, the difference between Zionism and Nazism is only where the barrel's pointed. So to the do your own research crowd, what the hell were you researching? Because Stephen Miller and Peter Navarro slid right past you. And if you'd have told me 15 years ago that Stephen fucking Miller would be writing American policy, I would have wept or walked into the goddamn ocean. His history of white nationalism and racist rhetoric is well documented, published in public. ICE behaving like the Gestapo is not an accident. It is the design. He studied Goebbels. He romanticized control. He gets off on the optics of this shit. You are not witnessing the echoes of history. You are watching its reanimation. And if Stephen Miller reads this, he'll smile. Not out of vanity, but out of victory. Because the optics of cruelty are the point. Because control is the end game. Because power over the powerless makes him feel divine. And he's not ashamed of it. He's proud of it, I promise you. And through all of this, your children are dying from flooding in Texas, from heat in Arizona, from poverty in West Virginia, from fentanyl in Ohio. Dying so some son of a bitch can get another tax break on putting his 4th house in a trust fund. They tell you not to make it partisan when Texas drowns or when wildfires take whole families out west. Don't politicize the tragedy, they say. But it's not partisan, it's human. And if you're not moved by it, if you don't weep for these people, it's not because you're a Republican, it's because you're morally hollow. You were spiritually bankrupt because empathy left your body the moment Fox News told you it was a weakness. And I say lack of moral fiber because I like the rhythm of the phrase, but what I mean is devoid of it. And if you think I'm wrong, look your child in the eye and put a dollar amount on them. What are they worth in American currency? And you can't, but this administration has, Congress has, and it's just under $109,000. Not enough to buy a house, not enough for a lifetime of health care, just enough to justify a press release on budget reform. They've penciled it out in a margin somewhere next to campaign donations and fossil fuel subsidies. And since you can't put a price on your own, understand that mine are just as priceless to me. And that's the universal currency. It's the exchange rate of human decency. They've convinced you that you matter to them, and you do until you don't. Until your insurance lapses, until your job is automated, until your house floods, or your kid overdoses. Then you are not a voter, you are a statistic. And if you can't see that you've been discarded, that they don't care about you anymore, then you are either deliberately blind or quietly complicit. Pick your poison. And I say this to every single soul still wading through this toxic sewage of faux conservatism. Whether I know you or love you or once thought you were better than you are either a fool or a Pharisee. And if you choose this path, this bile-soaked nationalism, then you have made your choice. You've nailed your flag to the mast of cruelty. And don't pretend it's about policy, because we can argue policy. We can argue over tax rates and the Constitution. That's the democratic process. But the availability of civil liberties and human rights are never up for debate. That is not conservative versus liberal. That is human versus inhuman. And if you think those rights only apply to people that look like you, speak your language, or share your religion, then the devil waits for you and he delights in it. You are not the hero of this story. You are the fucking guardrail on the road to hell, and the rest of us are just trying to slow the car down before we lose everything and everyone we love. Defiance till death.
Defiance till the end. I will not comply. FAFO, however you want to go. Just here to let you know.
There is an excellent article.
Nice agency. Okay, anyways, so we're over here. Check yourself before you wreck yourself. Don't let them politicians. See, that's what you call. That's what they call blindly following, right? We've seen COVID where everybody blindly followed, right? When you blindly follow a group.
Right.
So blindly. You're supposed to what?
You're supposed to be getting your information from source, right? They'll tell you.
Blindly following others can have several negative consequences that affects both the individual and societies. Loss of individuality and autonomy. When you blindly follow others, you may lose touch with your own values, beliefs, and goals, according to the media. You might suppress your own opinions and ideas in order to fit in with the group, stifling your personal growth and hindering the development of your own sense of self. You got suppression of critical thinking, poor decision-making, vulnerability to manipulation and unethical behavior, missed opportunities for growth and innovation. That's all what it leads to. Unquestioning obedience can hinder your ability to analyze situations objectively and make independent judgments. So like when everybody like supports this one person and that one person supports this and then they all support that because they support it, that's blindly following it without looking into what the hell it is.
Right.
See what I'm saying?
Oh, yeah.
No matter what the deal is, no matter
Right.
what the. So unquestioning obedience. You may accept information and ideas without verification, making you more susceptible to misinformation and manipulation. That's what it's about, is being it. That's why you got to do your own research so that the media can't lie to you.
Plus, it expands your consciousness, and you'll find other things too that help you wake up more and more.
Right. Poor decision making, decisions made based on group conscious rather than critical analysts can lead to undesirable outcomes. Particularly in high stakes situations, you may be pressured to make choices that contradict your own values or better judgment, leading to regret and potentially harmful consequences. Vulnerability to manipulation and unethical behavior. Unquestioning loyalty can make you susceptible to manipulation by charismatic but potentially deceptive leaders, says Psychology Today. You might find yourself participating in or condoning unethical actions to maintain a group harmony or avoid disapproval, even when you know they are wrong. And this is where we're at right here. I stand against anything unethical, so that when the group sees you finally, hey, I'm taking a stand, I'm not doing it, this is it, I'm not doing this shit, then the group looks at you as like a traitor.
Right.
Because you're no longer in the hive mind.
Don't be ashamed to change your stance, because that's what this is all about. You know, you learn more information, and then you might change your stance, and don't be ashamed of that. You kind of reevaluate everything.
You got to look at it with love and compassion.
Right. Just like you know, when Trump's first term, we were all on that. Then we went and expanded, and we changed our outlook on a lot of things. That's called growing. That's how you grow. You learn more information, and then we came to the realization what this is really about, and it's nothing to do with politics.
Right. So you might find yourself participating in or condoning. How do you condone it? By not speaking against it. Unethical actions to maintain group harmony or avoid disapproval, even when you know they are wrong. Missed opportunities for growth and innovation. Following the crowd can lead to stagnation, preventing you from exploring alternative perspectives, developing new skills, or finding innovative solutions. That's why we bring different things to the show. We don't just do one thing or focus on one subject or topic. We bring multiple topics because people grow. And as we grow and grow, we can show more and more but not until we get to the certain, we pass this stage of deception, of realizing how we got here and who's been controlling the damn vessel. And it ain't been us.
No. The door was open for all the information, everything. You can access anything right now, but that's where you have to use discernment, because you'll get deception within there and you'll get the truth within there. So you have to learn how to and develop that discernment. The more you look and the more you look into things, it fine tunes that.
Yeah, it does, and it opens up a whole nother world, really.
Right.
And then your perception changes.
And don't be afraid to look at anything. If you have questions, that's the whole problem. We stopped questioning. The church had us stop questioning anything about anything in the Bible or anything about, what we've been taught. Schools, the same thing. So we're supposed to question. That's how you find the truth. You're supposed to question. There's nothing wrong with questioning anything.
Yeah, that's what I was talking about, reanalyzing, even going back and looking at the scriptures. And
Yes.
Because it'll open up to you on a whole other level every time you look at it.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
Whether it be the Quran or the King James or whatever version you got.
What we've learned over the years, you'll see. It will open up to you. It comes to life, basically.
Right, and even the missing books, especially, right? All the stuff
yeah.
that they took out.
Yeah.
The Gospel of Thomas.
Like the Apocrypha or the Nag Hammadi. There's just so much information that you can get a lot out of.
So, strained relationships blindly following can create tension with those who hold different views or challenge your allegiances, potentially leading to conflicts and damaged relationships. And this is where we're at with some people now, right?
Yeah,
we have
that's been like
conflict, and it creates tension because division is why we're losing, because of the constant misinformation, disinformation, and the division. And that's why we're
holding
losing.
on to your belief instead of saying, hey, maybe I need to look into that. A lot of people are closed-minded, right? Or they're steadfast on their, what they believe, but that's when you close yourself off to the truth.
We're in a realm where you can believe anything you want, and then that's how powerful your mind is, and then it's so be it, right?
That's right.
That's how powerful our minds are. There's 7 billion people on this planet. You think we all have the same beliefs?
No.
All 7 billion?
No.
Not
And
one of us
God,
agree.
Thank God.
I don't think there's one other person like me that agrees with everything I say or everything I
That's
do.
what makes us all unique, right?
So in essence, blindly following others without critical thinking and self-awareness can lead to less fulfilling and potentially harmful life. It's crucial to cultivate independent thought, question authority, and make decisions based on your own reasoned judgment and values to navigate life effectively and contribute positively to society, says the Sustainability Directorate. I got the article. I'll share it out. It's a little longer than that if you want to read it. Would you say you want to read it?
Down at the bottom, the weather. It's a ways down.
These people hate you. They despise you. When you step up and you say, hey, what the f you do? They get pissed you're even asking a question. And
see that? What I say? Question authority, right?
That's right.
And he's telling you right here, they get pissed when you question them. Why are y'all still talking about that?
these people hate you. They despise you. When you step up and you say, hey, what the f you do? They get pissed you're even asking a question. And the only thing that can solve any...
It's the same reaction as we get with law enforcement. It's some, not all, but there's some interactions that take place and they have that same egotistical attitude of why are you questioning my authority?
And the only thing that can solve any of this is all of us unifying against tyranny, not against Republicans, not against Democrats, against tyranny, like this left-right, Democrat, Republican, gay, straight, this, that, black, white. They want us to argue with each other while they fucking steal everything that we work our fucking asses off for. Explain to me how that's free.
Stop. That's why we've been stuck in this mess for a long time.
Please follow, like, and share this video. I am a supporter of Donald Trump. And I supported Donald Trump not because I thought he was the lesser of two evils. I thought Donald Trump was the best man and the only man at that time that could make the change that the American people was looking for. But when I think about it, I think that Joe Biden was that bad on purpose, so the people could make a resounding statement saying that Donald Trump was the man and for Kamala Harris to lose. But now that Donald Trump is president, what makes me question a lot of things is Donald Trump knew from his first presidency that they wanted America to be in a conflict with Iran. He said the very first day, they was like, we need to go at Iran. And so for him to do anything with Iran, and he even spoke about it his first presidency, that the warmongers wanted the United States to attack Iran. But now we're in a conflict. And he fired upon them, knowing that's what they wanted him to do. But as a MAGA man, wanting the best for Americans, wanting Donald Trump to be president and to make the changes to stop all of this DEI and the LGBTQ in schools and the censorship and all that, has it really changed? I think the one thing about Donald Trump's presidency is letting the American people know that it's right wing, left wing, Republicans, Democrat, it's still the same bird. I mean, Kash Patel, all those great things that he said, Now, head of the FBI, what is he doing? Dan Bongino, Devin Nunes, Ted Cruz. You could go on and on and on. They are betraying the American people. Oh, that Epstein list, I don't care what happens, Bongino. I don't care what happens. We need answers when it comes to. And what happens when he gets in position? I think with this Trump administration, I think the deep state pulled the covers off of themselves and let the American people know and the world know that the presidency is controlled and that the deep state is much more powerful than what the American people even think. Even with the Donald Trump presidency, they are building up a prison walls around us. I can't believe some of the censorship that the Trump administration is doing. It's unbelievable. And for those who know. But for those who don't know, you need to do your research because there's a lot going on. And we know that Tucker Carlson, we know that he was been Donald Trump's supporter for years. Candace Owens, supporter for years. Why now? And a lot of the platforms are exposing everything that's going on. And they're saying now MAGA has been betrayed, and hopefully that the MAGA men and women are finally waking up. I know I have. The American government is controlled. And whoever the people that are controlling the American government are very, very powerful. And the only people that can stop what's going on and what's coming is the American people and people in the world. We better wake up. Who we think is in control is not.
Try telling them.
Yeah, that's so true.
That's why you gotta be made aware. Don't be deceived. Well, from the first term to the second, you gotta see what he said and what's taking place on this one. Tucker Carlson is now being targeted by Mark Levin and the mega crowd because he had an actual interview with Iran, sat down with him and talked. I don't see anything wrong with that. Candace Owens, same thing, right? They're waking up and what's that? Oh, is this the one? Okay. So they're waking up and sounding the alarm. Hopefully it's not too late, but we'll see. I know the lions are roaring right now. Yeah. All right, U.S. military controls these towers, according to BOP News on the ground, exercising its First Amendment right. Freedom of press. All right. So this is what everyone's talking about on the news.
The next rats.
The next rats. And this is also who they're talking about being around the next rats, right, on the last couple of weeks. But we're going to see what they got to say. Put the closed caption on.
Go see.
Go check it out.
So this is Louis Arthur with VOP News. We're covering next rat penetration drills. This is more of a daytime where we put up the posted signs that are going to be going up where these directed energy weapons are. As you can see, we're over here by Will Rogers Airport, where the U.S. government has a massive facility. The next rat across from us right there. We got 4 dome towers running down this stretch, and a 5th one that you'll see here in a little while. Now, they are beefing up security. Like, they're not messing around. They want you to know, even if they don't have the personnel on a Sunday and they don't want to call people in, that they're still going to have an empty security truck. So that truck is empty. It's just sitting there parked as if there's someone in it. This gate itself looks to be a welded shut. Now remember, this whole side, government property. That next rad that's fenced in, that section itself is government property, but the private property, the airport, aeronautics center is all on that side. This is a plate weld lock. Security empty. Now, most people aren't going to come over here. You got to think when you're putting your posted sign. So most people, they're not going to see anything different with the bright yellow sign on this fence. And if they do, they're not going to be able to read it. So anywhere you can get a notice to let people know. So we're letting all the people who live in this community know that those are directed energy weapons and that simulation attacks are going and that they're selected. That we have 30 targets out of 50 that we're presenting to Governor Stitt, offering him a chance to deploy the guard to shut down what the military's doing, manipulating the weather. Oklahoma's the weather capital of the nation. We're going to go down, do our post-its. You guys will be able to see everything good in broad daylight here. Now, Mustang's getting hit with historic flooding right now. You've seen flooding across the nation. Past week and a half, 300 flood incidents. There's flash flood warnings going off continuously. Watching the radars, you're seeing how fast the storms are suddenly generating and being created. They just pop up all of a sudden, and they're already a bright red. That is weather manipulation, weather modification. The military continues their weather experimentation. And remember, the Department of Defense is the one that owns all the technology, the patents, and everything from the military contractors. We might have time to go to General Dynamics to see if they're shredding paperwork this Sunday. Last week, they were acting weird. But what we can do, if they're parked here, that they're going to see the lettering a little bit better, and people that are walking down the road, you know, and while if they want to get help from Colt, who does general construction, they can also get educated and be forewarned that these towers are not going to be able to continue to be permitted to be utilized. So we're going to set you there. I'm just going to do a wraparound. Some of these, this is a hole punch. Now, some of these we have are hole punch. So I got zip ties. If you hole punch the corners, you can zip tie them on a fence, on a gate, on a next rad. Laminating these will keep them dry. Good angle, perfect. Now, more than likely, once we get done today, the people that are living here, guarantee you somebody's gonna come out and take a look and see what this is. Maybe they saw it on News 9, because News 9 is telling everybody that we're doing this. So, very simple. Warning. This next rad Doppler radar is targeted for elimination by victims of U.S. military weather experimentation. Non-consent for military experiments upon the American people was provided to the Oklahoma City FBI and Governor Stitt in April of 2025 by BOP News. Operation Leaning Tower is a mission to eliminate the military's use of chemical agents, biological agents, and directed energy weapons against Americans. Title 50, subsection 1528. DC political criminals authorize the military to poison Americans as part of their research into weather creation and manipulation. This weather weapon is no longer lawfully operating and will be going under simulation attacks, along with many other NEXRADs across America. Contact independent investigative journalist me if they have any questions or comments. And I do get people that actually call and want to talk about this stuff. And I'm very grateful, because even the ones that are curious and they want me to explain how the military is manipulating the weather, I can break it down to them in about 2 minutes, and they walk away, a lot of them, convinced. Why else would we go through all this trouble and go through all this? Why else would we go to the FBI? Why else would we ask the commander-in-chief to stop? Why else is Pam Bondi not receiving our complaints in the evidence and military patents and the work of researcher Lori Kramer, who's got over 25 years experience on military crimes, that with them poisoning our skies? And the meaning behind a lot of the stuff that they're doing, there's hidden symbolism, and we're not going to go too far down that rabbit hole, but I always tell people, your military is not serving God, and it's not serving the American people. Your military is playing God with the weather, with these weapons, and they're using the weather against the American people, and they're going to burn you out, and they're going to flood you out, but one way or another, they are going to move you. They're not going to come with tanks and guns and drones and jets. They can't have the world see them murdering Americans with weapons that they're visible. No, they're sending you weather weapons so you can blame God. Now, there are so many people that are blaming our Heavenly Father for what the U.S. military is doing, and you're asking, why did God allow this to take place? Why did those children in Texas, those poor kids, drown in the river Guadalupe? Why did God do this? God's not doing it. And you're going to stop mocking our God and blaming our God. Have the balls to say who's doing it. President Donald Trump, the United States military is doing this. Don't blame God for what the U.S. military is doing while you throw parades for our sons and daughters and worship them as heroes, and they're sending floods and fires your way because they're taking orders not from God. There's a synagogue of Satan that's still here until our Lord comes back. Y'all better realize you're in a fight, and it's not flesh and blood. So you better get right on the spiritual side so you can march further into the flesh world and pull some people out of the hell they're in. We'll talk more about that later. We're just going to walk down here. If you want to just film and kind of show them the directive, we'll put the next postal sign over here. And we're going to work our way around and then post this next rad right over here, hide behind the trees. Now, I've been contacted by people. We can just keep walking. I'll walk beside you. You can show and film. I've been contacted by people who've worked on these radars. These people who have spent their entire lives. And funny, it's just after I have them just go look up a few things and ask them some serious questions based on science, they're starting to realize that the stuff that they were being told, they're lying. Some of your data centers, NOAA, your radar operation command centers, these people are just sitting in there punching in data all day, much like the pharmaceutical companies have data analysts, and they're running the data and they're uploading the data. It's always data. So your radar operation command center, it's not sitting there like you got hundreds of people watching and activating these weapons. These weapons are already synchronized into one system under AI. Artificial intelligence. If you want to see that report, the United States military has already told you. I know you guys get distracted a lot. There's always something going on. Maybe a dead squirrel, maybe something is just going to make you look left or right when you should be focusing straight and narrow. Now, there are people that are out here that's contacted me. A majority of them are disagreeing with my reporting. They're saying I'm crazy. That's fine. I'm not the one blaming God for what the military is doing. So let's take that to the heavenly court. I can be as crazy as can be, but if I'm right with God and I'm telling the truth, which is what I am, and the nation and everybody wants to blame God and say it's an act of God, no. This is an act of man following Satan. If they were following our Lord and Savior, they definitely wouldn't be playing God with the weather. Now, they have to poison you, and you're getting two types of poisons. You're getting the stratospheric aerosol injections, which they're getting ready to rename and reclassify, so then new laws and codes have to be. This is just a big game they're doing right now, letting you know that they're doing it while they're not doing it. But they have to poison your skies. You've seen the list of chemicals, biological agents, They fogged cities before like they did over on the West Coast. We've got a whole list that anyone can go and look up of military, illegal U.S. military experiments done on the people. And it's insane when you go look at what they've done. They've already fogged us with chemical and biological agents. They've already sent weather weapons to people. They've already done all these things that they say they don't have control of, yet they've admitted to it. And the last president to actually talk about this was Clinton. Bill Clinton let you know that the military was unlawfully doing experiments upon people. And then all of a sudden, you guys had all kinds of boom, boom, booms going on. You had militia supposedly blowing up an FBI building here in Oklahoma City. And what's funny is, if you look, Timothy McVeigh and them, they got all their explosives and know-hows from federal agents. They just didn't want people to start trusting the militia after they told them that the military is poisoning them and experimenting on them. You know, there's a lot of trust that was lost. So what's the first thing you do? Where's that trust going? Well, if people want some protection in their community and the military's poisoning them, they're going to go to their local militia. And so what they didn't want was, and this is all their mapping, guys. Like, we've seen all this, and our whistleblowers, all their information's been accurate. What they didn't want was the militias to be trusted, and for churches and everybody to start going to the militias to start saying, hey, we got to make our own military because the U.S. military just got caught poisoning us again. And this is like the 10th time. And remember, they use biological or chemical or biological agents against the Native Americans, infecting their blankets with smallpox, using any type of illnesses that they can generate. So they didn't want you trusting the militias. So the FBI made sure that the militia, under Timothy McVeigh, would blow up their building, and they made sure you would see children that were blown up in that daycare center and other babies being pulled from the rubble and being held by first responders. Now your trust is back in the system, the firefighters, the police who responded to that bomb that the quote-unquote militia set off with the FBI's assistance in getting all the explosives, means, and know-hows to pull that off. They did the same thing to get Gretchen Wilson, that other governor that's up there in, I think it's Michigan or somewhere, the Michigan governor. Same thing. It was all FBI agents. You just get a couple militia members. Now, it worked because psychologically, the entire nation turned against the militia. That's how stupid Americans are, because they will go with the herd and they will believe whatever they're being told, especially if it's someone from like the FBI or a cop told me so. I mean, that right way is not going to be questioned by the American people. And that really hurt America. Set us back. Actually set us back big time. People didn't trust the militia no more. Then our militias, well, they lost purpose. They had no purpose no more, because now they're all domestic terrorists and radicalized, according to the FBI. And the FBI was the one that actually did that. And I'm not asking you to put trust back in the militias. We're not a militia, you know, and so many people are trusting us, but that's because we're telling you to put your trust in Jesus. Put your trust in God. If you're 100% sure with the evidence that you've had, and you know what the truth is, and you know that the military's doing this, say their name. Say United States military. Don't get into NOAA, NWS. Don't get caught into all these smoke screens that they're getting ready to give you from solar radiation management, geoengineering, cloud seeding. No. That's the smoke screen. The United States military controls these guys. It's U.S. Air Force poisoning our skies. They're not using their jets to shoot down the sky, the tankers that are dispersing the sky poisons. All of our jets are over there. We're actually protecting the very country that blew up the USS Liberty and helped destroy the 9/11 towers and helped invade America under the Biden administration. That was Israel did all that. And so all of our equipment is over there, supposedly protecting them, but they're not really protecting them. They're just eliminating useless eaters because that's what they're commanded to do. So don't trust the military and don't trust the militias. Just trust Jesus. You don't have to get with a group of guys and get a bunch of guns and go do tactical maneuvers. That's not what a militia is. There are militias all across the United States of America that I know, and that's what the FBI, I mean, they understand it when it was explained to them. I said, they're not in the groups that you guys have all your feds in, that you guys are monitoring, that you guys could entice. I don't deal with those people. They don't know Jesus. They're so compromised by the president and politicians while they say they support the Constitution, but they won't support the Constitution if it's for a Democrat. And I've seen it in too many cases. So we don't have anything to do with them. The militias are your churches, or your fathers who are looking down at their kids as they're choking with asthma and looking up at the sky as it's being sprayed with chemtrails and puts two and two together. That's your militia. That man goes talks to his brother and says, hey, your niece is getting sick. They're still poisoning the skies. Lewis is doing everything he can, but man, we're not going to keep waiting. That uncle goes to his friends and say, all right, guys, get your two wheels. Let's go. Grab your bag. It's time to go. And there you have a militia that can be anywhere between 3 to 300 individuals. And you guys have seen us mobilize 300 people to events before. And man, we can get all kinds of people to go to political stuff. We'll see how many people show up this week when we keep bombarding Governor Stitt, because we got a few things to do at the Capitol this week. We're going to put the notices for these next rads over by the stop sign. We want people to see it. Maybe they'll get out and take a peek. Let them know. But back to how the military's manipulating everyone. Your history is a lie. And it does no good to continue exposing the FBI. The FBI has been exposed so many times. If you try to fight the FBI, you're not going to get anywhere. They're not even really what people think they are. You're fighting a figure that it's like you're trying to swing at a freaking beanpole, and you think it's a giant elephant, and you're missing them constantly. That's just because it's a little small beanpole. Most of your government infrastructure right now with personnel, you can go look at it. They're even reporting it. With all these layoffs, with all these cuts, they're not doing new hires. They've done a bunch of firing for all the new hiring, but they're going to be very selective who gets inside the system now, because the system has identified everybody who would stand up against globalism, stand up for Jesus Christ, stand up for children. They're going to find everybody there, because those are the biggest threats that they have. If you know our Lord and Savior, you're a huge threat. Because you can just go out and give people Jesus, and he's going to give them the eyes to see that you have, and they're going to wake up, boom, 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 boom. You know, very simple. That's the quickest way to wake someone up, is say, here's our Lord and Savior. Pray to him, accept him, and ask him for sight. Tell him you want to see, that you're questioning the narrative. Then it's not coming from you. It's not coming from some obscure internet webpage. It's not coming from evidence or declassified memos from the DOJ. No. If it comes straight from the Lord, you don't have to question it, because it's the pure truth. And he will let you know anything. He's not going to give you anything that's going to hurt you, that he knows you're going to react badly to. He'll let you know if you're prepared and you got faith in him. We're not out here fighting in a panic. No, we're doing our best to put the other side in a panic. We're calm, cool, and collective. We're completely peaceful. We are not afraid to continue to report on the ground, to show you these weapons, to call them what they are, to post it up, and to continue saying more and more will get sabotaged. More and more. Because of that father looking down at his daughter, have new asthma inhalers, because the ones that she previously had aren't strong enough. And that uncle says, nah, this is enough. I'm getting my buddies. So you have to think about black swan scenarios that the feds can't control. And something that they can't control is where you're going to make the biggest impact. And we've been very clear. If you see someone go out and hurt anybody, threaten anybody in the military, threaten anybody working for quote-unquote National Weather Service or NOAA or FAA, you don't threaten the people. You pray for the people. And many of them that are working inside, they know something's not right. They know they're lying to the people in some fashion, and everyone knows the Department of Defense is in charge of all of this. The Department of Defense under Hegseth. And don't call and threaten him either. These people are just puppets. They're just playing a rollout in a movie. They're given a script. It's WWE. You got all kinds of Jerry Springer drama, Rosie O'Donnell drama. I mean, it's exactly what the people voted for. It's what they voted for. That's that smaller unit that you wouldn't find on the maps. They threw that one on top of a building. Now there's one or two of these guys was messaging me saying that they're just the radars for air traffic control. I'm not buying that right now, but I'm not going to discontent it. So we are going to see what kind of information we can get off of two of these domes out here. The other ones we already know are next rads. Now they tell you that they built 159 NEXRADs. They keep changing the number. I want you to look on the map when you see all those circular blue flashes, and I want to let you know that, you know, with the hundreds that you could see during Weather Weapon Helene all up the Gulf Coast, you can see. They're like, well, how are these quote-unquote towers in the middle of the Gulf of America? Well, they're on Navy ships. The United States Navy. The United States Navy under the United States Antarctica Project is actually the lead team from the branches of the military. United States Navy's first, then it's United States Air Force for poisoning your skies, United States Army, and your USMC is actually the ones that are protecting these goons that under USAT, they're the security that you have to go through. You have to be from that branch. You have to be actually recognized by Congress with your rank. You know, you can't just be some lower level guy. You have to have the toppest security clearance. You have to be a Marine to protect the elite. Now, people don't understand that the military simultaneously is protecting itself and its infrastructure while it uses these weapons against Americans. They say they want to know what they do. They want to gain control of it. The only way, and the reason why they're trying to continue this program, and a lot of Congress, they're invested in the military infrastructure, period. They're invested in Raytheon, Lockheed Martin. I mean, most of the people running their mouths in Congress are still have stocks in what the military is doing. They want this stuff to keep going. So they're trying to convince Americans that if your NEXRADs go down, everyone's going to die because we can't tell you a storm's coming. We wanted to take them down a month ago, but we were still in the height of tornado season, man. That'd be like a bad timing to go and take out quote-unquote Doppler radars because Americans are so programmed by what the media says. By the time most people research to realize they've been had by the military and the president, it's too late. You know, it's too late. You had a moment of opportunity, you know, and that's all we're providing is a window, a moment of opportunity for people to go out, confront these weapons, do everything you can to get others to see them for what they are. Loaded guns that are actually being fired upon us right now. Any of these transmitting right now. And there's a whole bunch that we're going to be bringing you guys out about the electromagnetic frequency. Comes good from here. See it? See how you couldn't see it from that side over there, but on this side. And it's got direct line sight. So all these towers, all 6 of them can see each other. Direct line of sight. Now, when you look at the transmission bursts that are coming off of the radar maps, you see the Oklahoma City and Norman, giant. Well, how do you think they're getting those powerful EMF frequency transmissions? You know, they already have HARP out there heating up the ionosphere and running and rippling out the stratospheric aerosol injections, making the clouds in the weather system. They already have all that. Controlling it was the biggest thing. And as we explained, these NEXRADs, when they're emitting those frequencies, they're pushing the air mass, they're pushing the weather system away. That's it. They're just pushing it away. Now, their frequencies can intensify. It can intensify your winds. It can de-intensify. I mean, it can escalate a storm, de-escalate a storm, make a storm go away. These have more capabilities than what any meteorologist could tell you because they don't even understand the military equipment that's embedded in there. You know, you had Navy ship weapons, directed energy weapons, taken from the ships and put into our communities on top of domes when they first started the NEXRAD tower of installations. Now, when you go back and you look at how many they built up through the 90s, and then you see the increase of storms. And we talked about this. In the 80s, 800 tornadoes across the U.S. 2023, over 1,400. What's the difference? Look at all the new towers. Yeah, you almost got 1,400 if you add the cell towers. And we're going to show people a cell tower that actually, yes, it has cellular communication, but it also has military equipment on it designed by General Dynamics, Lockheed Martin, Raytheon, everyone that's in this big group, this big crew that's working on the weather manipulation system, Boeing Company, Los Alamos National Laboratory, Desert Research Institute, pharmaceutical companies. I'm thinking they're going to be parked here. We're going to put the sign here. adjust to something. Now these are on the Telegram channel. We got a PDF. You can download them and print them. And you can go post them up. You can take it around and see. So when they're sitting, which is, I got it on the wrong side of the road too. I just thinking about it because they're covered up this way. I should put it on that pole. That's all right. We'll get another one over there. We'll leave that. I brought a couple extras. I will have to put one on this one. I'll put one on this box here. One. Let's go hit this box. Mike Maroney, Aeronautical Center. A lot of money. Especially anybody that's working with the Department of Defense. The biggest slush fund from all the money they extort from Americans. Then they utilize those monies to build weapons in our own communities, make us sick. Still have to come up and push the button, huh? Let's have them looking at the next rat that way. Let's go lower. I'm gonna go over the box. Then they gotta get it. That's it. It's real hot, so the tape's gonna hit good. Thing. Warning, stopper. Make our way down to this one anyways. Oh yeah. Good reminder. Now all these towers, they don't have an internal perimeter fence. That's the only difference between this tower over here and this tower over here. These towers, all on U.S. government property, and all this is coming to the Department of Defense, federal agency, FAA, NOAA, NWS. They're all part of the same system. They look big because you put a bunch of bean poles around each other. It looks like it's something there, but they're still bean poles. It's transparent. It's thin. There's no fruit. This one does have an internal security perimeter fence. Those you guys see that long antenna there? Know what that is? Give the workers something to read. This one's going to be coming out. We'll have this one pointed at that next rad.
So I just wanted to show you this to show you that there are people that do care about what's going to take place, and there are
Give you updates on
things happening.
going on with
You see the sign right there?
News 9 and Griffin Media.
No.
Oh.
Sorry.
Screenshot that.
Right. Operation leaning to.
Oh, and just so you know, the local police department drives by all the time and waves.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, he has some to support him.
We're headed back. Those of you guys that are going to go to the next spot, just so you know, we're headed back to get out of here. So, now the News 9, News 9 has gone out and they keep sharing that one story, but they haven't updated and they still haven't released all the audio of my interview. The interview I gave them actually informed them, and they really have a duty to notify everybody that I'm a cooperating victim with the FBI. I cooperate in multiple cases against my life, and I cooperate in what the United States military is doing to me against my consent. I deliver non-consent. Now, just because the FBI is failing in their duty to notify doesn't strip me of my rights and protections as a cooperating victim, a federal witness. And News 9 is not letting people know that, even though we provided you guys the live videos, us getting the documents, going to the FBI. We've done everything. And you've seen law enforcement, FBI, oh, Michael Meyer, oh, okay. And then they just walk away. If News 9 would actually tell people that, Griffin Media would tell people that, then people are like, wait a minute, if he's lying and these are just Doppler radars, how can he be a federally protected witness? Why are there threats against his life? Why did the Department of Defense try to have me civilly committed, arrested in the dead of middle of the night and thrown into a psychiatric ward just to see me turn around and let loose? Right away. 72-hour mandatory hold. I was out there in like 27 hours. Doctors knew I weren't crazy. Everyone knew I'm not lying. The people that are involved, a lot of them, especially even in law enforcement, I have probably about a third of the law enforcement I've encountered that know exactly what these weapons are. And they know about DARPA, and they know about the United States Antarctica Project. Many of them are veterans themselves, so they know what the military is doing. They also know it's a big no-no. It's a hush-hush. You're never supposed to tell the civilians, because if the civilians ever get unrest and decide they're going to storm their bases and take over the military, the very command structure that's using our sons and daughters to use weapons against us, then the military's lost power. The people outnumber the military by 1,000 to 1, 10,000 to 1. If everyone gets together, it's insane. And that's what scares them. That's what scares them, is the civil unrest. Now, we don't want people to get civil unrest. We want you to be methodical in your strikes, in your targets, in your sabotage. We want you to be very smart, destroy weapons, don't ever harm a person. That's it. Don't harm anything else other than the weapons, the cooling units, the backup power, just the functionality of that weapon itself. Don't take out a power grid to shut down a weapon and put a bunch of people in the dark. That's not how we operate. We strategically eliminated the car supply line to box them into areas. We didn't just go through and take everything. We got as much as we could to box them in the areas to where the traffic was flowing up, and the ones that were being snuck around Border Patrol were getting caught. So strategically, we want you to do the same thing when it comes to eliminate the weapons that the U.S. military is deploying. And in the interest of heat and getting some things done, and we want other people to see what other next rads look like, we're actually going to close this out live, and then you can go ahead and get ready to end it. And then we will be going live again later or providing hard videos. But we got another notice to get done, and if you just hit it's okay. And I appreciate you guys for coming out watching. We got a few other things to do. This is Louis Arthur with BOP News. God is good.
Oh, I think he's.
And that's U.S. BOP News, and he also has its Veterans on
We
Patrol.
keep
is
hearing
on
from the Trump
Telegram.
administration that it's going after criminals.
Why does that always play her?
Veterans on Patrol on Telegram. He's got a bunch of videos on there as well, and a lot of information.
Right. So this is what he's talking about right here. We're going to bring a lot of the information and the companies he was talking about later. Here's one of the things that he was talking about. It's from Jesse Lynn on X. I'm so sick of looking at this piece of shit. 4 of these monsters surround my home. This is a weapon. I'm going to let you in on one little secret. These do nothing for our phones. 0, according to Jesse Lynn. I mean, they were able to call to the moon in 1965, right? With no towers.
Right. Right.
I mean, why do we need towers to increase the signal if you were calling to the moon from a rotary phone in the 60s?
Elf waves that causes MK Ultra. That's how they do MK Ultra. They don't need the drugs and medicine anymore. They have the elf waves.
So do your research. This one looks like it's right next to a Family Dollar right here.
They're all over.
Right next to it. All right, he's talking about what's this Project 112, U.S. biological weapons. And we're going to bring up the harrowing story of 112. And then we're going to go into the chemtrails. Project 112 was a biological and chemical weapon experimentation project conducted by the United States Department of Defense from 1962 to 1973. The project started under JFK administration and was authorized by his Secretary of Defense, Robert McNamara, as part of a total review of the U.S. military. The name Project 112 refers to this project's number and the 150 project review process authorized by McNamara. Funding and staff were contributed by every branch of the U.S. Armed Services and intelligence agencies. A euphemism for the Office of Technical Services of the Central Intelligence Agency, Directorate of Science and Technology. Canada and the United Kingdom also participated in some Project 112 activities. Project 112 primarily concerned the use of aerosols to disseminate biological and chemical agents that could produce controlled temporary incapacitation, CTI. The test program would be conducted on a large scale, extracontinental test sites in the Central and South Pacific and Alaska in conjunction with Britain, Canada, and Australia. At least 50 trials were conducted. Of these, at least 18 tests involved simulants of biological agents such as BG, and at least 14 involved chemical agents including sarin, It's ARIN and BX. But also tear gas and other stimulants. Remember, that's why they do the riots and shit in the cities in LA, and they shoot that tear gas. They're poisoning them. The same thing they use in Israel. That's what the guy was talking about. He said they found out what was in the tear gas.
And they put on fireworks, right?
Same thing with the fireworks.
Poison ourselves too.
So when they're out there shooting the tear gas, it's more than that.
Right.
It's not just ads. That's why I was wondering why they ain't grabbing their eyes and stuff.
Right.
Maybe they're just breathing it. It's really not irritating, but it's just the fact that they're breathing it in is.
Recently, they have one before they.
So this is how they test. This is how they test their weapons on the public by starting riots, and then shooting people with it and seeing what it does. And then until they actually really do want to use it on a mass level, then they know how it works.
Right.
They need test subjects. Test sites included Porton Dawn, Ralston, Canada, and at least 13 U.S. warships. The shipborne trials were collectively known as Shipboard Hazard and Defense, or SHAD, SHAD. The project was coordinated from Desert Test Center in Utah. As of 2005, publicly available information on Project 12 remains incomplete. There's one of the ships when he's talking about the Navy. USMC,
Desert
United States Navy, United States Air Force.
Globe and aerosol cloud.
See the globalist
around it.
The X with the badge.
NASA, USMC, and USAF. Or M. Is that M? Oh no, USAF. Yeah. And USN.
There you go. Here's your screenshot. Yeah, I got it. I just want to look through here and see if I see anything. I like to look at the badges. So in May 1965, vulnerability tests in the U.S. using the anthrax simulant Bacillus globulus. It's Bacillus. Here, let me. There's a big word right here that I can't spell. This one. Were performed in Washington, D.C. area by SOD, covert agents. One test was conducted at the Greyhound bus terminal. This one. And the other at the North Terminal at the National Airport. In these tests, the bacteria were released from spray generators hidden in specifically built briefcases. SOD also conducted a series of tests in the New York subways system between 7 and 10 June 1966 by dropping light bulbs filled with that. I'm glad they showed a picture.
That looks like
it's hibiscus, grass hibiscus. Or I might be pronouncing it wrong. It's a gram-positive, catalyst-positive bacterium found in soil and gastrointestinal tract of ruminants, humans, and marine sponges. As a member of this genus Bacillus B. subtilis is rod-shaped and can form a tough, protective endosphere. I guess that's what it's saying. That's it right there. In the letter test, results indicated that a city-level epidemic would have occurred. Local police and transit authorities were not informed of these tests. That's just in the 60s. We're on a whole nother level now. COVID. And just think about it. They just had a few weeks back, they had something come from another country the other day, right? Bacteria.
Yeah. That's
Remember
what
that?
looked like, the code.
Yeah.
That's what that
Uh-huh. Just like you said, they put stuff in the blankets of the natives.
did. Oh, yeah. Smallpox.
Yeah. Let's see here. We're going to play a little video here in a second. I'll share this link out as well. This is Camp Diedrich. This is where they do all the experiments as well on the military, as far as vaccines are concerned as well. Class 3 cabinets in U.S. Biological Warfare Laboratories, Camp Diedrich.
1940s.
It's right there by D.C., right? Just south of it. All right. But it's all connected. Here we go. Let's go with video. The harrowing story of Project 112.
During the Cold War, a shadowy initiative known as Project 112 lurked in the background, led by the U.S. Department of Defense. This top-secret project ran from 1962 to 1973, conducting chemical and biological warfare experiments on unsuspecting military personnel and civilians without their consent. The goal was to understand the potential of chemical agents and their dispersal mechanisms for use in warfare. Unbeknownst to many, these tests involved exposure to dangerous agents such as VX nerve gas and biological simulants under the guise of military exercises. The veil on these horrific experiments was lifted decades later, revealing the lengths to which military science went in pursuit of dominance, leaving an unsettling legacy on both science and ethics.
Oh, ethics. What's that?
Somewhere out there in a podcast, that apartment
What's
stacked with
What's
empty
ethics?
takeout boxes and Jordan
Ethics.
Peterson hardcovers. A lonely Republican man is wondering why no one loves him.
There we go. Ethics.
They're doing damage control because the masses are waking up. Our phone is ringing off the hook. And let's talk about crazy, Jimmy. Here's crazy.
Hold
The
on,
entire global.
Let me do this real quick. We're going to play that here in a second. Let me get my... Oh, great. I got to put this on at least.
Global climate science community and every government around the world is saying emphatically that they need to put jets in the sky to spray light scattering particles to slow down the warming of the planet.
We have special guests with us. Dane Whittington is with us. He's a lead researcher and administrator for the website geoengineeringwatch.org and executive producer of the groundbreaking climate engineering documentary, The Dimming. He has a background in solar energy and has devoted the last 20 years of his life to researching covert global climate engineering operations and the effort to expose and halt them. So welcome back to the show, Dane. And the reason why I have you on, Dane, is because we had big news yesterday from Lee Zeldin. Lee Zeldin is the EPA administrator in the Trump administration. The Trump EPA is committed to total transparency, he tweeted out. I tasked my team at the EPA to compile everything we know about contrails and geoengineering to release to you now publicly. I want you to know everything. Everything's in all caps. I want you to know everything I know about these topics, and without any exception. Well, that's pretty interesting. Well, here's his video. Let's listen to it.
Concerned Americans have urgent and important questions about geoengineering and contrails. The American public deserves and expects honesty and transparency from their government when seeking answers. But for years, people who asked questions in good faith were dismissed, even vilified by the media and their own government. That era is over. The Trump EPA is committed to total transparency. As a result, I tasked my team at EPA to compile a list of everything we know about contrails and geoengineering for the purpose of releasing it to you now publicly. In other words, I want you to know everything I know about these topics and without any exception. Instead of simply dismissing these questions and concerns as baseless conspiracies, we're meeting them head on. We did the legwork, looked at the science, consulted agency experts, and pulled in relevant outside information to put these online resources together. Everything we know about contrails to solar geoengineering will be in there. That means anyone who reads through this information will know as much about these topics as I do.
Well, he says a key word. He says contrails. We're talking about chemtrails. See how the slick wording? It matters. There's a difference between contrails and a chemtrail, right?
Do as EPA administrator. Anyone who's ever looked up to the streaks in the sky and asked, what the heck is going on? We're seeing headlines about private actors and even governments looking to blot out the sun in the name of stopping global warming. We've endeavored to answer all of your questions at the links on your screen. In fact, EPA shares many of the same concerns when it comes to potential threats to human health and the environment, especially from solar geoengineering activities. The enthusiasm for experiments that would pump pollutants into the high atmosphere has set off alarm bells here at the Trump EPA.
Oh, really?
Prior to now, EPA has never been this proactive to raise awareness about concerns with geoengineering and to stop this activity from being scaled up. This is what it looks like when government actually listens to the will of the people and doesn't try to squash it. You can always trust this administration and this EPA to take your concerns seriously, answer your questions honestly, and carry out the will of voters with integrity.
Read that script, buddy.
Okay, so I'm pretty sure that's what they mean when they call a limited hangout. So he's pretending.
Contrails?
Okay,
He's saying contrails.
So he's
not chemtrails.
So
contrails, the thing that they said chemtrails are.
Exactly right, Kurt. That's exactly right. So he's giving lip service to people who have serious questions, like we do here, like Dane does, and actually have evidence that the contrails aren't contrails, but that they're chemtrails. So if you go, I just wanted I'll give you a real, this is my Reader's Digest condensed version of what is in that report. If you go, Justin Hart put it together. He said, spoiler alert, there's no there. Contrails. This is what they say about contrails at the report. Contrails are a normal effect of jet aircraft operations and have been since its earliest days of air travel. If you are seeing a lot of contrails in your area, it is because there are a lot of jet aircraft flying overhead. And chemtrails, the federal government is not aware of there ever being a contrail intentionally formed over the United States for the purpose of geoengineering or weather modification. They've never.
It's not a contrail. If they're telling you the truth, it's not a contrail.
It's not a contrail.
They do this legalese crowd.
Yeah. So when you see this.
Yeah, and COVID came from China.
He's saying this is all just naturally occurring because of jet travel, and you must be crazy. And I love this. If you think this is normal, you're probably vaxxed and boosted. So
you don't think they put pentagrams in the sky naturally?
Right. So Dane, well, let me just read this one last thing, and I'll bring it to you, Dane. The EPA is not aware of any scientific evidence that supports any claim that any nefarious activities are taking place. HARP is not a classified program, and its environmental impact study can be viewed by the public. So that's what. So Dane, I'm sure you read this. I'm sure you saw that. What is your response to this, Dane?
This whole thing is absolutely ludicrous that everybody's going to pretend that climate engineering isn't raging in our skies. And from that little bit from Lee Zeldin. He's not much of an actor, is he? And you need a big set of boots to wade through what he just spewed out. And what was his first attempt to address this issue? Going back a couple of months, he tried this. He tried to point the finger at two IT actors from Silicon Valley that launched a few balloons. They launched 140 balloons, total PR stunt, virtually meaningless, 10 grams of SO2 tied to each balloon. And Zeldin tried to point at that, at the threat we face for our skies. That belly flopped completely. This is his latest attempt, no better. The public is waking up fast, and what happened in Texas is exactly what geoengineeringwatch.org has tried to warn about for a decade and a half, and that's the tip of the iceberg, and much more is coming.
Yeah, it's much worse than that. Do you ever see the great governor where I live in Texas, when they asked him about, hey, did that guy with the mullet maybe start this with his stupid weather toy? And the governor goes, that's a loser question. I thought it was on par with Trump saying, why are you bringing up Epstein? Level disconnect. It was amazing.
So I agree. Saw it all. And that kid you're talking about, Augustus Dorico, there's something radically wrong with him, who he is, who he's connected to. We have pictures of him nuzzled up to Bill Clinton. He's part of the Peter Thiel Foundation of training youth, whatever the hell
creepy
it is.
Rosicrucians? Yeah, I know. Yeah.
So we're gonna. I mean, that guy showed up at every state legislative meeting to try to pretend climate engineering wasn't happening. No one would do that, but his little single-engine propeller-driven airplanes, which might drop 5 or 10 pounds in a flight, is going to change the world, right? Really? When a single military tanker can carry 100 tons in one payload? Yeah. Again, this is a circus of stupidity at this point. Climate engineering is raging in our skies. We're all going to pay the price. It doesn't stop. I have a wildfire in my backyard, so it's not just deluge. Climate engineering is setting the stage for these epic firestorms, and now we have U.S. Forest Service, another governmental agency. I was told this week by California state officials, U.S. Forest Service not only refused to let their firefighters put this out, they refused to let CAL FIRE put it out until it's massive and uncontrollable. What's going on here?
So there's a lot more nefarious stuff happening than I think we could even wrap our brain around.
Yes.
That's what I just like with COVID, people, it's the lie is so enormous that their brain can't wrap, and still to this day, most people I know can't wrap their brains around it, so they just dismiss it. And they'll say things like, oh no, COVID's over. That's over. Even though it takes 10 years to figure out what the side effects are from a new vaccine, and we're only 4 years in. So we're not even halfway through COVID and the experimental medical treatment called COVID-19 vaccine that we were mandated to take. We don't even know what the outcomes of that is. So the same thing here, I don't think people can really wrap their brain around. So, because they've made people who would look up in the sky. If you looked up in the sky and you saw stuff like this, and you had a question about it, they would call you crazy. You're a chemtrail crazy person. So, what do you make of the timing of this? What do you make of the EPA coming out pretending to be on the board, on the side of people like you and me and Kurt who have questions about stuff like this? What do you think this is all for? And what do you make of it?
They're doing damage control because the masses are waking up. Our phone is ringing off the hook. And let's talk about crazy, Jimmy. Here's crazy. The entire global climate science community and every government around the world is saying emphatically that they need to put jets in the sky to spray light scattering particles to slow down the warming of the planet. And yeah, it would look exactly like what we see. Yes, it would disrupt the hydrological cycle, exactly like what's happened. And yet they tell us that we're not seeing what we're seeing. Nothing to see here. Move along. It's absolutely ludicrous. We have film footage of these aircraft at altitude, nozzles visible, turning dispersions on and off. They turn their transponders off. We can't track them. Only the military can do that. The larger tankers, we can't track. Their transponders are turned off. And we're testing precipitation, and it's packed with climate engineering, highly toxic elements. This is a circus of stupidity at this point, Jimmy, and we need the population. Thank you for your voice, you and Kurt. You guys have a very effective way of delivering the message, and we are definitely late in the game, but Zeldin is doing damage control, doing a pitiful job as usual, just like the Epstein disappearing files. This is going to blow up in his face, just like him pointing at the two clowns from Silicon Valley.
And so can you tell me a little bit about what is HAARP, HAARP, and why did they try to discourage anybody from thinking there's something going on with HAARP?
But there's a lot going on with HARP, and HARP is a weapon of mass destruction, period. High Active Auroral Research Program, that's what the acronym stands for. But that acronym isn't meant to mean anything to anybody. It's meant to be deceptive, and it is. HARP is a ground-based ionosphere heater. It can transmit 3.6 million watts of power into the electrically charged ionosphere, causing an electrical chain reaction. These are patented processes. The science is not disputed. As it superheats the atmosphere, it causes it to expand up and down. The downward push in the atmosphere creates a high-pressure dome, a term we see all the time now with meteorologists. In the northern hemisphere, the upper-level wind currents spin clockwise around that high-pressure heat dome, and they can steer the jet stream with that. The original patent holder acknowledged that. A Discovery Channel documentary called Owning the Weather acknowledged that. And now they pretend it's some benign research facility. It's a weapon of mass destruction, and there's another ionosphere heater, a big one, in Antarctica, Jimmy.
Yeah, is it Ice Cube too?
There you go.
So Ice Cube's a big HARP like I thought.
What is
my friend Eric Hecker's the guy that worked at Raytheon there.
Hecker knows, yes, he knows, correct. And again, so what do we have with the facility in Antarctica? During a U.S. presidential election, we had John Kerry, who was part of that election in Antarctica. During the election, he flies back to Christchurch.
Yes.
He flies back to Christchurch, New Zealand, still during the election. New Zealand was not towing the line for the power structure. Kerry pulls all the U.S. diplomats out of New Zealand about 4 hours before the massive quake hits New Zealand. What a coincidence, even though they were scheduled for meetings. Same thing happens we had Haiti, we've had the Turkey earthquakes. Now, again, this is
Syria had two.
Spoke about this. This is a tectonic weapon. So when you bounce a microwave signal off the now reflective atmosphere down into seismically sensitive strata and you superheat it, something's going to give. So to add credence to everything I just stated, Kurt and Jimmy, your listeners can search Japanese earthquake, atmospheric heating, MIT. Japanese earthquake, ionosphere heating, MIT. They acknowledge 3 days of atmospheric heating directly above the epicenter. They couldn't explain. That's signature HARP. It's not a benign research facility.
I dismissed a lot of people that told me this stuff a while ago.
Me too.
Preposterous. I didn't know that we had a treaty in 1975 to not use weather weapons, which means they had those back then or wouldn't have a treaty. And you
what's the caveat to that treaty? Yes, you're right, the INMOD treaties. And they passed those treaties because Project Popeye was so effective in Vietnam at controlling precipitation. How much further have they come now? But the INMOD treaties did not forbid, Kurt, they did not forbid a country doing whatever they want with weather, anything over their own population. No restriction there. Massive caveat.
How did I? Jesus Christ. Yeah, that's. Oh, also, I read the Mind War document from 2006 where they were talking how they can use this in the ionosphere to affect your moods. It was Mind War. It's how you make the enemy feel you've already won, before the war even starts. And I don't think they were using that on other countries because we didn't win them wars. I think they used it here.
How much they can tailor that is debatable, but the fact that we're an electrical organism, and if you bombard that organism with frequencies that disrupt that organism, that causes a problem, period. So again, and back to the frequency and communication transmissions as well, on top of this, we see the cell towers, they're being provided a servant's entrance that gives that 10 times more power than it needs for communication. What's that power being used for? Those towers are being used as part of the frequency transmission manipulations of the electrically conductive particles. So now let's go back to Texas. What happened in Texas? Now, that wasn't Augustus DeRico. It wasn't Rainmaker, his company with single engine propeller driven planes.
So let's hold on, Dana. I have a segment I have all prepared to talk about Texas.
I'm sorry.
So no problem. So let's not jump ahead. But, so there's a lot of nefarious stuff that's happening that affects the humans. And one of the things I want to remind people that does affect you is laughter. So we're going to be this next weekend. We'll be in Toronto, Red Bank, New Jersey, Northampton, Massachusetts, and Concord, New Hampshire. Go to jimmydore.com for a link for tickets. Hey, come see us on tour. We're going to be in Toronto, Red Bank, New Jersey, Northampton, Massachusetts, Concord, New Hampshire, Oxnard, California, Rutherford, New Jersey, New York, Edmonton, Calgary, and Vancouver. Go to jimmydore.com.
All right. So there we go. Laid it out. Covered a few topics. controversial, some non-controversial, but everybody's at different stages of the awakening. Some people are still in denial. That's okay.
They'll get there.
Just pray for everybody, like Veterans on Parole was talking about. Just pray for everybody and take action, right? Whatever your calling is, make it happen. You want to play that? No, that's for the law. Which one's missing? Oh, right here. You just want to.
What if the English language wasn't made to help you communicate, but to control you? Welcome to the Spell of English, the most dangerous operating system on earth. This is part 2 of the Power of Words project, where we decode the world's most dangerous spells. And today we're going to pull back the curtain on English, the official language of empires, ports, and colonizers. And I'm about to show you how this tongue was tuned for domination, and how to flip the script. So number 1, English. English comes from Angolish, the language of the Angles, which is a Germanic tribe. It was spread through empire, colonization, and commerce. So this is not the natural language of the spirit. Instead is the engineered tongue for control. Why is that way? Because English is a Frankenstein language, mixed with Latin, law, Germanic, war, and French, elitism. And it's filled with double meanings, legalese, and reversals to trick the subconscious. The entire system was built to confuse, contract, and consent without realizing it. So the counter spells for this is speak slowly, speak with awareness, speak consciously, reclaim your tone, and pause. You know, silence is a sacred spell as well. Number 2, contracts and consent words. So English is a language of contract law, and this is why you sign agreements and submit forms, which are legal bindings written in a spell form. Why is this way? Because every time you say I understand, it means you're standing under authority. When you apply, you're begging for permission. And these are consent words built in everyday speech. Some counterspells for this is never say I understand. You can say I overstand or I understand. Replace apply with declare or step into. And practice saying I do not consent, especially in energetic moments. Number 3, curses hidden in common words. The architects of this language were aware of phonetic inversion magic, and they embedded opposing frequencies in simple words. Why is that way? Well, live backwards is evil. God equals dog reversed. Blessed equals be less. And it comes from Bledsian, which means marked with blood. And spell equals to enchant and bind by utterance, which is a spoken word, statement, or sound. So these are some counter spells. Instead of saying blessed, you can say empowered or held in source. You can use creator instead of God if you want to break the dogma. And just increase your vocabulary, because every word you say, it either binds or frees you. So they didn't teach you English to express yourself, rather to suppress yourself. But now you know the code, and now you see the glyphs. And now you speak as a creator, not a consumer of spells. If you want to go in depth with this stuff, just check out my ebook. The link is in the bio. I made it because everybody kept asking me.
Should be. Yeah, there's 2.5 minutes.
Yeah.
All right.
And just a reminder, we have to support the mission. You get 30 original songs by Glenda Turner on a USB for a $25 donation. You can email her at glendajturner@mail.com. Also, any donations to the True Seekers on the .com or through any of the platforms, so we can keep going. Also want to mention for your pets, the True Seekers 88pets.com, right? Is that?
Yeah. That's it right here.
Or for yourself. They have stuff for humans and for your fur babies. Keep them healthy and keep yourself healthy.
And that's all we got for today. 7/14/2025. Timestamp 10:01 Eastern Standard.
That's it. We thank everybody. Mike is still at home. He's healing. He's doing better, but still needs to heal. So keep him in your prayers and his family in your prayers. And we love you, Mike. Get strong.
That's all. We'll be back here tomorrow. What's today? Is it Tuesday or Monday?
Tomorrow's Tuesday.
Okay, Tuesday. I think the dog pet food are coming on Wednesday.
Yes, Pet Ladies will be
Pet
on
Ladies
Wednesday.
will be on Wednesday. And that's all we got. See you on the flip.
Good night, everyone. Love y'all.
The system is rigged. They want us to think it'll protect us, but that's a lie. We protect us. We do. Nobody else. Not the companies, not the scientists, not the government. Us.
It's a big club, and you ain't in it. By the way, it's the same big club they used to beat you over the head with all day long when they tell you what to believe. All day long, beating you over the head in their media, telling you what to believe, what to think, and what to buy. Forget the politicians. The politicians are put there to give you the idea that you have freedom of choice. You don't. You have no choice. You have owners. They own you. The big wealthy business interests that control things and make all the important decisions. They own everything. They own all the important land. They own and control the corporations. They've long since bought and paid for the Senate, the Congress, the state houses, and city halls. They got the judges in their back pockets. And they own all the big media companies, so they control just about all of the news and information you get to hear. They got you by the balls.
The good news is the elite across the world trust each other more and more. The bad news is that in every single country they were polling, the majority of people trusted that elite less. So
the owners of this country don't want that. They don't want that. You know what they want? They want obedient workers. They don't want a population of citizens capable of critical thinking. They don't want well-informed, well-educated people capable of critical thinking. They're not interested in that. That's what the owners count on. The fact